Hello everyone, you're welcome my fashionistas. This is Yvonne and this channel is Yvonne Winifred UG. So today I'm very excited. We are making this dress suit that Barbie Kyagulanyi wore about 4 years ago when her husband, His Excellency Bobi Mr Kyagulanyi, was swearing in as the MP of Kyadondo East. And I think it was designed by Fatuma Asha. I love Fatuma Asha. So we are making this dress in a Kitenge fabric, African fabric. So let's get to the cutting table. So today I'm using the mix and match African Kitenge fabric. The red one is in 2 yards and the other printed one is in 4 yards. So the red one is going to be for the dress, and then the other printed one is for the jacket, and we are starting with the dress. So I've folded my fabric into 2 parts, and I'm going to first cut the front. As you've seen, it is folded into 2, and the width that I'm working with is 1/4 of the weight of the hip measurement, because the hip measurement is the largest circumference that I'm working with. Plus seam allowances included, and the length that I'm working with is about 40 inches. Joining allowances also included. So now let me first mark out my work piece. So guys, I love Barbie Kyagulanyi. I don't know if you also do. She's so exemplary as a lady in Uganda. Anyways, so from the top, I'm marking 1/2 inch line, and I'm rolling out this line, and that will be my shoulder line. So that half an inch is the joining allowance at the shoulder. So my shoulder measurement is 15 inches divided by 2. I'm using 7.5, but since this is a sleeveless dress, I move in and I mark 6.5 plus 1/2 inch as joining allowance. Then I go straight by 8 inches, straight down 8 inches, then 9 inches for my bust line. The first 8 inches is the armhole, length. 9 inches bust line. Then I go to about 16 inches for the waistline. Then I go down at 24 inches or 8 inches down from the waistline for my hip measurement. So now coming back at the shoulder line, I'm marking my neckline. So the width of the neckline is 3.5 inches by 4.5 inches as depth. Then I carve out. So it's the normal dress. I think we've done this before on this channel. So I'm slanting my shoulder by 1 inch. Then I join that shoulder slant to the neckline. Then don't forget to add joining allowance at the shoulder. There, have that 1/2 inch joining allowance. So from that shoulder slant, whatever I'm remaining with, I get the midpoint and I mark that point there. That is where our princess dart is going to be. So from that point, I can just straight away mark or move out by 1 inch, and I also move in by 1/2 inch to mark out the armhole. So now this is the armhole, but since we are using the princess dart, it's the reason I moved out by that 1 inch. I will be explaining later. So from the top, I'm marking my bust point at the 9 inches or at the bust line. So now I have to mark my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So I'm using 7 inches divided by 2, 3.5. That 3.5 I add a 0.5 for joining allowance, and I mark my dart placement at 4 inches. So I join this middle point line to the bust line or to the bust point, and there I'm forming the princess dart. So I moved out so that I I mark out a new armhole. Since this is a princess dart, we always extend out by 1 inch, so that whilst sewing, the allowances will be enough, especially for the side pieces. So now guys, the 4 inches that I've marked at the bust point of the bust line, I'm going to duplicate that from the bust line till the hemline. I'm marking 4 inches from the center front, and I come out with a dot line that goes to the hemline. It starts from the bust line till the hemline. It is 4 inches from the center front to where that placement is, and that is our princess dart for this dress. I have a full tutorial of a princess dart. You can check it out on my channel. So now I'm just going to go ahead and place my other measurements. I'm starting with the waist measurement, the bust measurement, plus 2 inches. 1 inch is that sewing allowance, and the other one is 1 inch is for the same allowance. Hope you're understanding. So every measurement here, I'm dividing it by 4. It is a quarter of the exact waist measurement, hip measurement, and a bust measurement. I know you know these things, but if you are new and you know you're not getting what I'm telling you, please comment below. I'll explain further. So at the hemline, I want this dress a little bit tapered, so I'm moving in by 1 inch. From the sides, I move in by 1 inch so that this dress is a little bit tapered. So after that, I just cut out my markings like this. So I'm not going to cut out the princess dart. I will be cutting it after cutting out the back piece. So now we have to cut out the back piece. Still, I've folded another fabric into 2 parts, and I've just brought my front piece and I just placed it on top of this new fabric, and I'm tracing out the entire shape that we came out with. But in this case, there is a change of the zipper allowance and the neckline shape. So now this neckline is going to be 1 inch, but there is that half an inch for joining allowance that we left at the shoulder. So I've marked 1.5 inches. Then the center back has has a zipper. So after there, I just cut out accordingly as I did for the front piece. So just as you see me doing, simple as that. So now I can change it to the other side, and don't forget to label your pieces as I'm doing. So now I have to align everything together. Remember, there is a zipper allowance at the center back. After aligning everything together, I cut out this princess dart, as you see. So now I have 2 side pieces and one middle piece. So at the middle piece, I can cut out this excess that I have because it is not needed. Or if possible, you can cut it after sewing, but you can even cut it here. So we need that 1 inch for the side pieces, because whilst sewing, it will be needed, as you will be seeing. So the first pieces are for the front, I put them aside, and then the other ones are for the back, just like that. Remember, at the back we will be placing a zipper at the center back. So now I'll just join by half an inch my pieces like that, and I'll place a zipper in the middle there. That is, there is a zipper allowance of 3/4 of an inch. Yes, so moving on, I'm going to just cut some strips of fabric, like bias strips, and finish up my neckline and the armholes. But if you're using lining, you can do so. But in this case, the owner of this dress doesn't want all that. She wants her dress simple and free. So moving on, after sewing, I've joined the pieces together. As you see, you guys, I'm not showing the sewing tutorials because these videos will be so long. So but I know you know how to sew. So I've joined, and this excess I'll just cut it off. It is not necessary, but cut them off after ensuring that your measurements are exact. In the middle there'll be a zipper. So now let me go and finish up the neckline and the armholes after joining the shoulders. After the shoulders, by there, I'll just join the sides and hem the bottom, and from a few moments later, this is the dress. This is a dress that I've come up with. It is a simple dress, not all that complicated. Thank you, Fatuma Asha, for designing this outfit. So this is the dress, guys. Neckline check, armholes check, and I have a slit at the back, just for easy movement, and the hemline is also well sewn, and this is the zipper at the back. So it is a nice, beautiful dress, simple, sleeveless. You can rock it with anything else. And from here, guys, I think we can move on to cutting and sewing the jacket. So now for the jacket, as I've said before, these are my pieces, and for the jacket they are just the same, they are equal. And this jacket is about 43 inches in length. It is longer than the dress, so the center front will be cut into two, but the back will just remain the same. And as we did even on the dress, we just make a few changes. So now at the shoulder line, I will just extend by half an inch for joining allowance. So if you don't want your jacket too tight, make it a little bit loose, add some allowances. So I don't want it to be so tight, so with the armhole I'm extending it by half an inch. So I've marked 8.5 inches, the waistline at 16 inches, the hip line at 24 inches as we did before. So I have to rule out the bust line. It is slightly under that armhole line. So remember, these are two pieces. We are cutting everything together, both the front and the back. So I'm slanting the shoulder by 1 inch, and I mark the midpoint of the rest of that line that I've remained with. Still nipple to nipple plus seam allowance, I'm marking at 4 inches and mark out that line where my dart placement is. Then I connect those points till the bottom at the hemline. I'll finish up with that later. So now from this midpoint, I carve out my dart. Make sure at the joining it is really well carved. So after there, remember, I extend by 1 inch my dart at the armhole for the princess dart. Then I move in by half an inch to carve out this armhole like this. So remember, we are making the jacket. After I carve out this new armhole from that extension of 1 inch, then I go to the neckline. For the front neckline, I'm marking 3 inches by 2.5 inches in depth. Then for the back depth, remember we are marking everything together. For that back depth, I'm using half an inch, just half an inch. So I carve out properly like that. So that is the front, and the upper one is the back neckline. So I connect to the shoulder slant, and after connecting, I add half an inch for joining allowance, so that I don't forget. Half an inch for joining allowance at the shoulder. And guys, from there I just continue. I finish up this dot line till the bottom at the hemline. So now I can place my measurement. So for these measurements, I was adding half an inch to every measurement for some ease. Since this is a jacket, you don't need too tight, but if you want it too tight, you can consider that. So again, every measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches sewing and that allowance, and then half an inch as the ease allowance. So whatever I have at the hip line is what I mark at the hemline, just like that. I'm not tapering the jacket, it will just remain like that. So after I just connect my markings properly and neatly like that, and now I'm good to go. I can cut out. So I'm starting with cutting out the back markings first, as you see. So now after cutting out the back, I can lift the back out and cut out the front neckline, then also cut out the princess dart, just as you see. Then for the middle piece, I cut out this excess, and I'm good to go. So don't forget to label your pieces so that they are not mixed up. 2 side pieces and 1 middle piece for the back, and then 2 side pieces and 2 middle pieces for the front. The front is going to be divided into 2. That center front is going to be divided into 2. So guys, I've also gone ahead and cut out some facings. So this is the back facing that will be sewed onto this back like that, right sides facing each other, and it is about 4 inches in length from the center, from the neckline. So that is for the back. I'll be sewing it later. It is short, but for the front one, I made that center piece, as I just duplicated the center piece as the facing. It is long, as you see, but it is the facing is 1 inch less than the main piece. As you see, it is 1 inch. The main piece is 1 inch longer than the facing. So after there, guys, I just went ahead and cut out my sleeves. So it is not so well explained here. I think you know how to cut the sleeve, but if you don't know, please comment below. I will help you do that. So my sleeves, they are about the 15 inches long, you know, from the shoulder to the elbow. I'll be using this contrasting color at the end of those sleeves, as I'll be explaining later. So this is it after sewing on the facing. Sorry. So that is how the facing will be looking like for the back, and the front is just like this. So I sewed half an inch from the bottom, as you see. Then afterwards I pulled the facing onto this top, then I also sewed just like that. Remember, they are not equal in length, that's why I started from the bottom joining at the whole, joining horizontally at the bottom. So this is what I come up with as the two centerpieces of the front. After joining the facings, this is how neatly they become. I'm loving what I see. Hey, so now I can join the side pieces, and after joining the side pieces, guys, for the back and the front, I come up with such a beautiful back piece for the jacket. As you see, the princess dots are now in place for the back and for the front, and this is how it looks like. I'm just in love. I just love suits, guys. I love suits, and when I saw Barbie in this suit, I was like, I will make it one day. I remember that time I had not even bought a sewing machine, but I kept that photo till now. So guys, I'm going to join my shoulder facings and the main piece facings just like that by 1/2 inch, and then I'll be good to go to join the sleeves, and then I'll join the sides. I'll finish the bottom hem, and for the sleeves I'll be joining some contrasting colors so that I come up with such a beautiful jacket, blazer, coat, whatever you can call it. It is so beautiful. So for the contrasting color, I just I duplicated that part of the sleeve onto the contrasting color, and then I sewed it as you saw a bias strip, and I top stitched on top of that sleeve. I did the same even onto the other side. Hope you're understanding. I know you are doing so. All the other finishings are in place. Check the facing. I love what I see. You guys, I'm so proud of my work. I'm so proud. I made this neckline in check. As you see, this is not neckline, it is hemline. Sorry. This excitement, oh my god, I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited, guys, you don't know. So everything back front is neatly and well done, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. So putting in the dress, I'm just showing you how it will look like, because the owner of this dress she doesn't want to appear in my video. Anyways, she's shy, but let me just show you how it will be like. So this is our suit, guys. Hey, looking like Barbie. So if you want that contrasting color onto this jacket at the hemline there, you can just add it, but the owner of the dress just wanted we stop there. Thanks for watching.